What are the biggest challenges from going from non-league to the Football League?
First of all, one of my biggest challenges was taking the step from academy football to men's football. And it's something that if I speak to anyone now who's been released from academy at a similar age to I was, or is in a position where they're a young lad with no club, or you've got to play men's football. And I think I couldn't be more grateful and sort of push something more than play men's football at an early age. And I think that's something that's really helped me then moving into the professional environment in the EFL with Wycombe, being able to have those men's games under your belt, deal with the physicality of the men's game is massive. And I think the biggest change is just the sharpness, the consistency. It's training every day. It's allowing your body to adapt and get used to the physical loads. But I've loved it. I felt like the transition's been relatively smooth. Obviously the bits and bobs that were different. Some of the stuff was pretty similar, but no, I've absolutely loved it.
You mentioned the physical side. Was there a mental aspect to it as well? Did you sort of have to change your mindset, making that step up, maybe be a bit more stricter with yourself?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the jump from non-league to the Football League is not only a relatively big jump in terms of the football, it's that other side of life, moving away from family, a few more sacrifices than you would have had to have made living 20 minutes away from the football club. But I think that just comes hand in hand. But you've also got that support there on a bigger scale to help you through that. And some players need more than others, where others are sort of left to their own devices and know what they need. But yeah, no, absolutely. It's that, and the mental aspect of thinking about preconceptions before I went, thinking about potential egos, these players that I know have played in the Premier League, it's all of that. But no, I was extremely pleasantly surprised, and it's an unbelievable group.
And we know that making the jump was tough. But what was the toughest element about playing at non-league level?
It's the physicality, it's definitely, and I think everyone will probably say the same thing. Yeah, it's just when you're sort of 15, 16 and you sort of first start playing men's football, it's a bit of a shock to the system. I remember when I was 15, I played in a friendly for Worthing against Loxwood, who are a county league side. The first 5 minutes, put the ball up in the pocket and I got absolutely smashed. And I think I was like, oh, right, okay, a little bit of an early induction to what the next few years might hold. But again, I wouldn't change any of that. It's been great. And I mean, I don't know if many people will say it, but I quite enjoy that nasty side of the game, that bit of it. So I've embraced it, and it's definitely helped me making the move.
You mentioned sacrifices earlier on. I know that you live down south and you've now moved to Wycombe, but you're living in Diggs, so you're living with another family. So what's that like?
Anyone who knows me knows that I'm a massive family man. That family is everything to me, and that was scary at first, sort of moving away from home, and I've been away from my family before. And like you say, you think about, oh, am I going to miss my family? What's it going to be like? Obviously with Diggs, before having met who I'm staying with, you're not sure what they're going to be like. Am I going to settle? But honestly, the people that I live with, Mike and Kathy Locke, are unbelievable. Like, it is like a home away from home now. I'm so comfortable here. My mum and dad absolutely adore them. It's been as smooth as it could possibly be, and I'm extremely grateful to the club for setting me up with that, and obviously Mike and Kathy for being so hospitable with me.
Did you know Wycombe was sniffing around when you were playing for Worthing, or other Football League clubs were interested in signing you?
The way it all came about was a little bit different, and I'm sure it's not how most people would make their move. I got told sort of there were a couple of clubs interested about maybe March, April time. And then I knew that Wycombe was one of those names, alongside with a couple of other clubs who were keen. And I remember I sort of sat down with my agent and said, look, I'm going to be brutally honest, and I've told a couple of people this. I wasn't sure that that's what I wanted to do. I was more than happy at Worthing. We were having an unbelievable season. I'd built up a coaching business of my own, and I was enjoying doing that. So for me, it was like I'm really enjoying life right now. So there was that hesitation in terms of, is that what I want? And I remember saying to my agent, I said, I don't want to do anything until we've won the league. As Worthing, I said, it's been 3 years on the bounce. We came so close with COVID. It's like, this is such a long time coming. I don't want to go anywhere or do anything until like that's done and dusted. And then as soon as we won the league, that game away at Bowes and Pitsea, we had a good weekend. Went to Dublin, and then it was like, I do want to do this. I thought at the end of the day, if it's something I don't enjoy, there's no harm done. But I loved it. Was offered a contract, and I'm so grateful that I did go for that opportunity, and obviously grateful for the opportunity that they gave me.
What was the turning point?
I think, my family aren't football. I don't have a football family at all. My dad never played football. my mum, I wouldn't say she despises football, but without me and my brother in the house, she would never even turn her nose up to football, especially with being my dad because he's a musician. I never ever felt pressure from family to do anything, especially in a sporting world. It was always 100% support for what I want to do. So when I told them I'm not sure I want to do it, they said, look, you can do whatever you want. But what they said was, what's the worst thing that can happen? Yeah. You go there, doesn't work out, you're back to doing what you love and what you enjoy right now. Nothing changes. But you might not get an opportunity like this again. Worst case scenario, you take the opportunity, not a fan, you go back, or it can work out for you and it can change your life. And yeah, here we are.
What advice would you give to players currently playing in non-league, wanting to make the jump that you have to the Football League, maybe thinking, I don't know if I'm going to ever get this opportunity, but yeah, what tips, advice can you give to them?
We're so privileged now to have an unbelievable amount of players in the non-league. It's crazy. I pick through my social media and all the time I see more and more players making the move now. And it's so impressive that clubs are now sort of giving the non-leagues the attention that I don't think they probably got a few years ago. But no, I mean, it's the first thing for me is play. Just go and play. I know there's a lot of lads who get a bit worked up on wanting to find a professional club and a bit hesitant of going to play in non-league because of a stigma it attaches. It's non-league football. But I mean, non-league football's evolved so much. The standard is so high now, especially sort of, obviously the National League's always been good, but National League South, the Bostik Premier League or the Isthmian Premier League and the Isthmian South now, the standards are so high, you just got to go and play. And there are people watching. The proof's in the pudding with sort of players like myself and hundreds of others over the last couple of years. Go and play, enjoy your football, and then let nature take its course. And if things happen for you, then they will.
You mentioned that your family aren't a football family. Who did you sort of turn to for advice, sort of to make that final decision, to make the jump up? Did you speak to Adam, your manager, or did you speak to George, the owner? Or what did they have to say about the move and making that next step?
Yeah, look, Hinch has always been great with me. I've always had such a great relationship with Hinch since I came through the door at 15 to moving on at 25 years later. Hinch had obviously played for Wycombe. So he knew Gareth Ainsworth as well. And I remember him saying to me when I called him after sort of I went in for a few days and I said, look, they've offered me something. And he was buzzing for me. He was super happy. As you can see, Worthing's been such an amazing success story. Like the amount of players that have come out there and made that jump. And I remember sort of doing a bit of off-season training before pre-season with him and a couple of other lads at Worthing. And him saying to me, he'll love you, you'll be great. Like, it'll be so good. And having sort of that from someone who's not only played at the club but sort of played professionally and someone I've worked really closely with over the last 5 years was a privilege to have. But so I don't like necessarily talking about football all the time. I know it seems weird. It's my job and I absolutely love playing football. But when I'm not playing football, if someone talks to me about football or we're sitting around a table having dinner and someone brings up football, I'm like, oh God, not football again. I absolutely love it. But I mean, I think my mum supports me in that situation because I think she's had enough of the football talk around the table. So I like to look out for her. But yeah, family and Hinch was absolutely golden with me as well the whole time.